In today's video, I'll attempt to make the hero from one of my favorite childhood movies, Robocop. His iconic look, robotic voice,
Yes, I understand.
and extreme professionalism
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.
are permanently burnt into my memory. This customization wasn't easy, and not too far into the build, I was seriously doubting my ability to pull it off. Make sure you stick around to the end because
This is going to be epic.
isn't it funny how some movies can have such a major impact on us that we remember them forever? Images and catchphrases buried in the back of our brains only to have them pop up at the most random moments. Sometimes those memories aren't always pretty. This guy didn't do his homework or eat his vegetables. Don't end up like this guy. Wow, that's exactly how I remember him. Look at this armor design. It's amazing, and I can't wait to have my very own Akedo warrior, Robocop. I was lucky enough to find this Super 7 Reaction Robocop set on eBay for a really good deal. It came with Robocop, Battle Damaged Robocop, and Sloth from the Goonies. I love how the battle-damaged Robocop has bullet holes in the packaging. That's a nice touch. Let's open this up and take a closer look. The head looks perfect. And I'll definitely have to try to use the shoulders. And probably the chest plate too. Holy smokes. I really have a lot of work to do. Where do I even begin? For today's build, I'll be using Shockblade Twin Fang from Series 3. He has a lot of robot-like qualities that I think will save us some fabrication time. These weapons were really difficult to remove, and I was so close to cutting them off, but luckily, the needle nose pliers got it out in one piece, and maybe we can use them in another build. The head, we'll just cut off with the trim cutters. And we'll also cut off the right arm because I'm planning on making Robocop a puncher. Next, we need to grind down the neck as much as possible because as you can see, Robocop's head is barely big enough to cover it. Luckily, the head is made out of a rubbery material and it stretches nicely over our Akedo neck. One of Robocop's most iconic features are his huge, bulky shoulders, so I definitely want to try to reuse these on our build. The only problem is that they look way too big for our Akedo figure. Before we even get into how we're going to make the shoulders work, let's prepare Mr. Split's punching arm for its transplant. Out of all the Series 1 punchers, Mr. Split's arm is the only one that resembles a human's, and because of that, he's been extremely valuable and probably one of the most used warriors in our custom creations. The only catch is that you gotta sand down all these bumps. Before we glue the new arm on, let's make sure we can get the shoulder armor to work. I'm so nervous cutting this Robocop figure because I only have one and there's no way I can get a replacement in time. Even while I was hollowing out the shoulders, I knew that one wrong move could mean the end of this video. Okay, the shoulders seem like they'll work, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to use as much of it as I wanted to. At this point, we'll glue the arm on using nothing but super glue. As long as both sides are completely flat, this bond is gonna be really strong. Just make sure it goes on at the right angle and squeeze it tight for at least 20 seconds. Let's pull off the armor from the left shoulder, which will require needle nose pliers. After lining up the left shoulder armor, I can tell that I need to completely cut the bicep portion off. And it's such a relief to see that it's gonna work out. I'll make the same cut on the right side, and we'll soon have a good idea of what direction the build is headed in. It really looks like Robocop. We definitely got lucky with our cuts. I just have to make a few adjustments to the right side shoulder because of the weird angle the arm is sitting in, but after that, we can glue them on.
All right, attach it to his shoulder.
Using the chest plate seems impossible to me because it's so much bigger than the Akedo Warrior, but its addition will make such a major impact. I have to at least try. The first thing I'll need to do is get the chest plate as small as I can. Then I'll get it even smaller. And I think it just might work. And although I should be celebrating at this point, because we just finished the entire upper body fabrication, the legs are really throwing me off and I can't quite see the finished picture. I was about to toss Robocop's legs into the parts jar when I realized I need to find a way to use them. So here I am hollowing them out, and the thinner I get them, the more flexible they become. I totally think I can make this work, but there's just one thing. I can't do it with Twin Fang's legs. He's tippy-toeing really hard on his right side, and it's just something Robocop wouldn't do. Before we go to the doubles drawer, let's see if we have anything that'll work in the parts jar. There's a lot of legs that would work, but for some reason, none of them have their base. Okay, I don't have time to waste, so let's just grab someone who'll work, and we have a lot of. Glitch blade it is. There's just 2 pins that attach the body to the legs, and they can be easily removed. Don't ask why I'm using my pliers to do this. My hammer is literally behind me. And that's what I get. Doesn't hurt, doesn't hurt. Before we glue anything on, I'll reassemble Robocop to make sure the armor doesn't interfere with his splitting. I really had to cut down the leg armor to get it to work, but the main detail that I'm looking for is on the top. After I fill these gaps, we'll be ready for paint, and this time, I'll be doing something that I've never done before. I'll be painting this entire figure with spray paint. It's gonna look so amazing, trust me. Before we paint, I need to take care of a few last-minute details that I think are 100% necessary. Number 1, the pistons on the back of Robocop's legs that we can use from the figure. Number 2, the rings on Robocop's chest armor made with some spare wire. Robocop is finally ready to paint. I know Robocop is more of a gray or blue metallic color, but I have a really cool metallic chrome spray paint and I just can't help myself. I want Robocop to be shiny. Look at how nice the paint job came out. It looks chrome plated and I'm not exaggerating at all. The only way to get this finish is with the spray paint I used. It's unbelievable. There's also no way to do any touch-ups. I don't have a lot of hand painting to do, but I need to be really careful not to make a single mistake. Are you guys ready to see Robocop?
It is my great pleasure to present to you Robocop.
By far, my new favorite custom. He's gonna be really hard to top. Maybe it's because Robocop was such a huge part of my childhood, or maybe it's because this build seemed so impossible at times. Either way, I love it. Unfortunately, he's still drying and there's no way I'm about to battle him just yet. But don't worry, I'm already planning a Robocop battle challenge video with Eddie and Clark, and you're not gonna wanna miss it. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I can't wait to see you all back in the next video. But until then,
Stay out of trouble.